40 be 40. It is day 35, and these are 6 books that I've read in my 30s that have helped me personally, in my business, with family, friendships, relationships, all of that. The reason I want to share these with you because one of my goals in this 40 be 40 challenge was to read a new book. So I'm going to tell you guys what I'm reading at the end of this video, and maybe we can read it together because I'm only on chapter 1 so far. But I also just want to talk about the importance of reading, education, and all of that. So let's get started, and I'll show you guys the books up front. The first one I don't have, so here's a picture of it here. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Excellent book, excellent. Next up, we have The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. After that, The War of Art. And these are books I highly recommend. You don't have to read them, but these are books that have come into my life and have really just shifted pretty much everything in terms of how I think, operate, save money, spend money, all of that. Next up, many of you may already know about this one. I talk about it pretty frequently, not just here, but on my real estate podcast, but Atomic Habits. This is definitely a good one. Next up, The 12-Week Year. You see I have a lot of notes in this one. This one was a big one for me. The 12-Week Year. And lastly, but definitely not least, because I've read plenty other books, but when it comes to money and finances, I think, and make sure you're getting the updated 2nd edition of I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. Oh, I'm sorry. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. He also has an excellent YouTube channel where he counsels and coaches couples that are struggling financially, and a Netflix show based on his book. So let's talk about it. It's also library week. I would be lying if I said that I was aware of a library week, but it is library week and it wraps up tomorrow. So I thought it would be appropriate that we talk about books. And because one of my goals is to read a new book in these 40 days, I figured let me share the books that have really helped me in my life have a stronger mindset, to teach me new ideas, definitely improve my self-care. People talk about self-help books all the time, and these are a few that I keep at the top of my library because anytime I'm feeling stuck in my business or my creativity, I go back to this one. I read this one again last year before the year ended because I was really struggling into what I wanted to do in this new year, because there wasn't any really educational goals. And I think I realized that I was just avoiding the things that I've always wanted to do, such as this project and being on YouTube, posting daily. But also, I'm a natural creative. So when I'm stuck, I feel miserable. I feel like the world is ending. Like, what is the point of doing anything if I can't be creative, or the ideas that I have just aren't coming out of my brain? So I go to this book and I'll read the first few pages, and each section is like really short. It'll be like, sometimes some pages are like this. And as someone that didn't like reading for a long time because of the traumas that I had growing up, reading in front of the class, being a shy kid and reading slower, or maybe finally getting into reading, but then not being able to retain the information, it was just really discouraging. When I became an adult, I didn't really read other than like blogs, Facebook captions. I know it sounds basic as hell, but that just really was my reality. Magazine articles, like I said, blogs. I kept it short and to the point. And as I got older, I realized, I don't think that I'm a bad reader. I think I'm just not reading the books that are right for me. So I had to flip the script and sit with myself and say, okay, if I was to pick up a book and read something right now and just really commit to it, what would that be about? I thought about the things I love and the people I wanted to learn about, and I narrowed it down to sports, basketball, fashion, hip hop, Nike. As a result, it turned into Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Now I know all of these books are by men, and that just happened to be the case when I started reading, There are plenty of books by women that I read and that I will be reading. So if you want a list of those or a part 2 to this video, let me know. But when it comes to being someone that is either intimidated or struggles with reading or retaining information, I highly suggest you pick a book, a topic, a person that you love or like or want to get to know more about, and see if they have a book. You could read it on Audible. Audible books is still reading of books. You just have someone else reading it for you. Ebooks, if you prefer like an iPad or tablet or your phone, because the book I'm currently reading right now is on my phone. I bought it through Kindle. It was also a more affordable option, so keep that in mind as well. And just a physical book. I have all of these books. That was one thing I definitely had to work into, was just being comfortable and learning myself, my habits with reading. I don't read a bunch at once. Sometimes it's like 20-minute mornings, or I'll be able to sit for an hour and I'll just read as much as I can. Some days it's like, let me read 50 pages. But it's just like sports and athletics or anything, a new job. You have to build up your stamina. You have to build up the habits. You have to build up your reps in order to get better. And that's what I did with reading. I just found books that I loved on topics that I love and enjoy and wanted to learn about, that would bring me value personally and in my business, as well as my own personal, especially in my own personal development. That's what was most important for me. And once I got comfortable with finding books that I enjoyed, I then started to branch out into other topics and, fiction, nonfiction. And it's definitely important to read a book, whether it's one book a year, one book every 5 years. I always want to challenge myself to at least 4 books a year. That's one book a quarter. So every 3 months I'm reading a different book. And not to mention, it's okay to reread the same book over and over again, as long as you're applying the lessons and maybe getting new lessons. Oh, I missed that the first time around. Like this book, I've read 2 or 3 times already. And anytime I'm stuck, I pick it back up and I'll just flip through it, start from the beginning, whatever I need, and it works. And we all can stand to learn a little bit more about money. And this book, out of all the money books that I've read so far, between him and The Budgetista, those 2 people have empowered me the most. But this book in particular gave me step-by-step instructions on how to close accounts, negotiate fee waivers. When you have those bank fees that you get charged once a month, for not meeting their minimum requirements, or maybe you want to negotiate lower interest rates. There's a wealth of knowledge in this book. For now, these are the 6 books that I reference and go to when I'm struggling, or if I just need a reminder to not procrastinate, to not hesitate, to believe in myself, to be empowered. These books have helped me throughout that journey. And now you're probably wondering, well, what book are you reading today? It's called There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension. I'm reading it on my Kindle app. I have a Kindle. I have an iPad, my laptop. I can access it anywhere without having to carry around a big old book. And if you're someone that loves sports, culture, reflecting on your personal life experiences and how they've impacted you today, yesterday, and tomorrow, his writing style is really poetic, which I appreciate. He articulates his writing in a way that to me feels like a song verse, which poetry and music are to me synonymous, but for his writing style. So if you're planning on reading this, you can kind of anticipate this, or maybe you've read one of his books already, but this is my first time reading any of his books, so I'm excited. I will say there's going to be a heavy mention of LeBron James in the book. So if you don't like LeBron James, this book may not be for you. But if you enjoy, again, sports, if you enjoy basketball, reflecting on life and its impact and hearing it from a different POV, then I think this book will be for you. But that's all I have. I just wanted to come on here, and I haven't talked about books yet. And if you have any questions or book recommendations, please drop them in the comments. I will definitely keep building my library up and reading more and telling you all what I'm reading. You know, I was once in a book club. Maybe we could bring it back and have some fun while we read along together. But for now, focus on the book I'm reading, and I think I'm going to spend the rest of the year reading all about financial literacy and education, because that's a topic that it's just like waves for me. It's up and down, up and down. I had a long season where I was up, and then this season right now I feel like I'm kind of in a dip, you know, and I want to learn more about that, but also learn new ways to apply what I'm learning, because I feel like I've outgrown the things that I've already read, and I'm ready to just level up and take it to the next level, you know, and help my people, truly, because I wouldn't have gotten to where I've gotten if it wasn't for receiving the help from the books, the blogs, the podcasts, all of that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, follow, leave a comment, like this video, share it with a friend. If you have a book club, drop it in the book club chat. I'd truly appreciate it. But either way, I appreciate you for watching, especially if you got to this part of the video. Again, more to come, more to follow. This was day 35. Go check out the other 34 days ahead of me, as well as my old vlogs from back in the day. I do a lot of food reviews, product unboxings, day in the life content, golf, tennis, basketball, you name it. Travel. Let's not forget about that. More travel content to come. But thank you again for watching. My name is Lily, like the flower, aka Fire Lils, and this is Fire Life. You the best. You rock. Peace.